Hello and welcome guys, my name is Larks, and for this tutorial I'm gonna talk about testing mutations in React components with Apollo. So on the previous video we already did the loading state, the success state, and the error states. So for now we are testing the mutations. So as you can see here, the application is on a clean slate, meaning there are no current data right now, only on the directors. So if we look at the code, I have used the my local server so that we don't screw up the live data when we're adding a director. So let's start for now. Let's try to add a director for now. So let's try to add a director and let's use this dummy image. Okay, so after clicking submit, it's adding a new director. So that's what we are testing in here. So let's find out where this add director model lies on this code base. So I believe it's in the add director model.tsx. So let's create a new test file for that. So let's add director model.test.tsx. So the first thing we need to do is to import the Mac provider. As you can see here in the mutation example, import Mac provider from Apollo client testing. Also, we need to render that component. So render from testing library React. Let's do that, and then let's describe the test. Let's describe the test. Let's put a director model in here. I think that would work for now, and then callback function and add an it. It should add a new director. Also, a callback function is needed. Now let's render the component. So render add director model, and we should drop this into the Mac provider. So Mac provider is the first one, like that. And then let's try to debug this one if it works. So let's npm run test it. I'm adding an letter F here so that this is the only file that will be tested when running npm run test. So let's try to run it. Okay, there is an issue wherein fetch has not been found globally and no fetcher has been configured. So to prevent this one from happening, I think we can install a specific plugin called whatwg fetch. So it's just a polyfill. You can search that one, whatwg fetch. This one. So after installing it, we have to import it from our test file. So since we have a jest set up here, we can import it here. Import whatwg fetch, and then I think that this will work, right? Let's try to run npm run test again. Okay, so it's working fine now, but as you can see here, it has a body that doesn't correspond to the current component. Since we are looking into this component, it has input text. So why is that? Since add director model is being controlled by sustand, we should also mark the sustand hook. So since this is being controlled by the use director model, we should import it here. So import use director model from store and use director model. So in here we can just fire I mean we can set state the current variable is open to true so that it should appear. So let's try to run that again. So yeah, I think we are seeing the inputs now. So we have a first name, last name, and then image URL. So the next thing we should do is By the way, when we are controlling the variables of the substance file, we should set it on each tests so that it will return back to normal. So to do that, we can assign a new variable state and then get its initial state values, and then we can put a before each here. So before each meaning every tests this will run. So we should just get it back to its normal state. Yeah, right, that like that one. So this is important, so it will not fail. I mean, if we copy and paste this one and then you put it false here, if we have no before each method here, the use director state is open will be false in here also. So let's try to remove that one. Just a simple explanation. And then next, um, let's try to mock our mutation now. So let's just copy this one. So we have to add an array object of mocks. Copy that. And then our mutation is create director. So let's remove this one. Create director. And pass the mocks here. And let's shorten this up. Director model only. And what else? The delete dog. This is not quite right. Um, I think I have a static data on my notepad. So this is the expected result. Let's just add it here. So since they are the same, we can just shorten this up like that. And the variable should be, since we only have three inputs that expects a first name, last name, and image URL, let's map that um, correctly. So first name would be data.createDirector.first name. Last name should be data.creator.last name, and image URL also. I think this would be better if we add the typings, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's just um, type it accordingly. Oh, this one should be image URL. Okay, now let's try to get the input. So we can do that by getting it by placeholder text. So first one would be first name. Get by placeholder text. What is the placeholder of that? Let's check. So the placeholder of that is first name. So first name. And let's check if we are getting this by using the debug method. So in here, let's pass in the first name and run the test again. Okay, it's not seeing the first name, actually. Unable to find an element. Okay, so let's try to... Oh, I see. Because we have changed this one to false. Let's try to change this one to true. Since we needed the true. Okay, it's showing now. Now let's copy and paste this one for the two other inputs. So this one would become last name, and then this would become image URL. So this one is last name and then image URL. Oh shoot. I have closed that one. So let's run this one again. npm run dev. Also the server, the local server. And let's clear this one out. So this one should be image URL. We can't um we can't have a typos in here because it will fail. Let's run the test again. Okay, I think that's working fine. And then we next thing we would do is to change the inputs text. So we can do that by using the fire event method from jest, I believe. Fire event. Oh, sorry. I think it's from the testing library itself. Yeah. Sorry. It's from the testing library. So fire event that change, and then the first parameter should be the element that we are changing, and then target, and then value. The value of the first name should be equal to our data mac. So data that create director that first name should be this one, and then let's copy and paste the two other um so last name image URL. Okay, right now I think we have already filled this one. Let's just rerun this because the server went down earlier. Okay, what's happening in here? Failed to patch, I think because this is not running. It's npm start. Sorry. Npm start. Okay, our local server is running now. I think this will work now. Okay, yeah. So let's continue. The next one should be we have to target this submit button because we have already filled this one up. We have to target this submit button. So to do that, um, we can do this button and then screen that get by role. So we can actually use the testing playground extension to target this button. So this one is the suggested query. Let's just copy that. And then let's fire event this button now. So fire event that click button. Let's pass this one. And then let's try if it's running correctly. Oh, screen is not defined, I think. It's we have to import the screen from testing library React. Okay, what's the wrong scenario here? An update to up blah blah blah. Okay, I think the result is not correct. The result is not correct. Okay, let's try to await this one. Await, wait for. And try to add in async here. Okay, no more mock responses for the query. Create director. Let's try to check what's happening in here. Um, okay, I believe we need to add an input first because it's the expected variable. So in here we have plotted it incorrectly. So we need to add the input first since in this mutation we are expecting an input, not the actual object. So let's try to do that and then let's run it again. Hopefully this will pass. Okay, yeah, the console in here is actually in this one. On submit we can remove that so that we have a clean npm run test console. So yeah, if we have already did the mutation, so the next steps would be, I think you can add um, additional assertions like testing if the submit button is loading. So let's try to do that. So in here we can also create another button. I mean, let's check if this has a loading indicator after we pressed it. So after we press this fire event click, let's check if there is a data loading indicator. So let's try to do that. So let's set this one to true for now. And if we target this element, you can see that there is a data loading attribute on the button. So that happens when we fill this up and then submit. So let's try to add a test scenario for that. So the first one you need to do is to revert this one into this loading variable. I just put true there so that you can see that there is a data loading attribute. So okay, let's get by roll this button again. I mean, it's already in here, so let's not try to do that. We can just use await again, and then let's expect the button to have attribute data loading. Let's try to comment this out if it works also. Okay, I think that's it. We are already have to have one scenario that we can use to determine if this is submitting correctly. So we can also add a toast if let's try to add again Paulo Soto, and then let's try to add a default image for now. Yeah, we can also add a toast after submitting the button. We can also add a test for that, but right now I don't have any toast alert. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video.